Welcome to Adjusting, a safe space for candid conversations about mental health and well-being with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Whether you're recovering from trauma, redefining your purpose, managing mental health, or simply craving more authenticity, this show is for you. I hope something resonates with you and helps you on your own personal journey. So sit back, relax, and let's start adjusting. And welcome back to episode 4 of Adjusting Podcast with your host, Justin G. Nelson. And before we begin, a word from my sponsors. Yep, not yet. But like I said last week, I do want to begin each episode with a grounding exercise. So whether you're driving, focus on the road. But if you're cooking or doing something else and you can take just 3 seconds to check in with yourself, I invite you to do this quick breathing exercise. So on the count of 3, you're going to breathe in. 1, 2, 3. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3. So this week's episode is one that I could talk about forever and ever. My friend and listener, Kyle, recommended this to me, and I want to talk about it on the podcast. So this week is Adjusting to Veganism. Now, a lot of people kind of know why and when I went vegan, but we're just going to talk about it all here. So it was February 10th, 2016, and it was the beginning of Lent. I was on tour with the Wizard of Oz, and the person I was dating at the time went vegan at the beginning of the year. And me being a supportive partner, I said I would do it too. So I said I'll make it a spiritual thing, and I went vegan during Lent on tour. Why? Well, I like literally my cast members, we had just went out that I think Lent was on a Wednesday, Ash Wednesday. So that Tuesday, I had chicken wings, fries, a quesadilla, a burger. I had all the things. That was like my last meal before I went vegan. Wednesday came and I was like, okay, guys, I'm going vegan for Lent. And I was just like, but you're on tour. Where there's a will, there's a way. And 8 years later, I am still in this thing. Now, when I went vegan, it was before content creation and all of that was like really, really popular. Like Tabitha Brown was on the scene, and people like Brian Terry, Tori Washington, he was a vegan influencer, and some other people. Like they're the OGs when it comes to vegan influencers. And I saw them and I was just like, okay, great. Let me create a brand for myself. This is before I even got into branding and marketing. So I created Justin's Health Corner. Yep, that was a moment. And with that, I wanted to be an advocate for veganism. My intention and goal for going vegan was never to have this elitist mentality or to make people feel like because they ate meat, they were less than. That was never my thing. I did it so that I can be an advocate to help other people. I find that oftentimes in the Black community, we shy away from health and nutrition and those things until it becomes an issue, like until the high blood pressure comes in, or the high cholesterol, or the stroke, or any other ailments that are like underlying health conditions that may be dormant or something. We wait until those things creep up and then we want to be healthy. Or you just want to have a beach body, or you feel that losing weight will get you the next thing. Now, I will say for me in my industry of performance, at times a certain look or weight is a thing. Like it's a requirement, like with the Rockettes, like they have to be a certain height, a certain size. I know with cheerleaders, you have to be a certain weight, size, height, and all those things. So in a way, it was kind of, it was a personal choice. I was not out of shape when I went vegan, but I do know that some people automatically equate veganism to weight loss. Not the case at all. So I created Justin's Health Corner just to be an advocate and a resource to people who just were curious about veganism. Now, when I started it, it was very immature of me to think I was an expert at all things vegan, to just jump right off after Lent, after 40 days, thinking I can save people. I wasn't Jesus, still not Jesus, okay? I want to be like him, but I wasn't him. So who am I to think that I was an expert in 40 days? So before I talk about the things I love, let's talk about the things I miss. If you are from Memphis, you know about Circle B. Those smoked sausages, when you get them a little crispy and put some coleslaw on it. And if you were bougie, you got like a potato bun, but a regular bun would do. I miss that. I really miss that. I think that's the only thing I really miss. I do not miss pizza. I don't miss chicken. I can do without it. It was just that Circle B smoked sausage was what I truly missed. And I will say that I went cold turkey and I never reverted back. Like there were times where I ate things, again, like being new to veganism, I didn't know to read the label 24/7. And some things had eggs in it or milk. But because I was so new to veganism, I didn't get affected by it. Now, vegan in 2016 compared to vegan in 2024, two different ball games. We didn't have as many meat alternatives or vegan companies out now that we did in 2016. We had like Gardein, we had Light Life, and Daya. Those are like the three. And some other ones, but they have really come a long way with veganism and vegan food and plant-based products, and I am grateful for it. Now, some other things that have popped up with me going vegan, I was shocked. Like, I was introduced to what I feel like was another life. Now, I'm not going to say I became a hippie and I was sitting outside talking to squirrels. Never that. That was never my story. I run from these squirrels in New York, okay? I had one time I came home and a squirrel was trying to get in my apartment. Bruh, we not splitting this rent. Get out. Okay, that's not my story. But I will say that my viewpoint of food shifted. I I was introduced to so many new fruits and vegetables and legumes and spices and herbs and all these things. But to go deeper, I was introduced to chakras. Like and people always say, eat the rainbow. So you want to get like a colorful plate of food. That way you are hitting like all the nutrients and things in your body. But then you go a little deeper, colors matter in your food. So with the root chakra, the sacral chakra, I'm a butcher the names of these chakras, but your red, your orange, yellow, your green, your blue, your purple, white, like all of those chakras correlate to a food. So if you have like gut health, you eat these green foods or yellow foods or orange foods that will help treat that. If you are dealing with anything throwing off your grounding or your root chakra, which is the red, like your pelvic chakra, you eat those red fruits like cherries, tomatoes, anything red, red beans. They really help to realign your chakras. I would have never known that. Like, I just thought, it looked good. It was cute. Like a salad with green lettuce, and your purple onions, your chickpeas, your nuts and things like. I just thought it was a crunchy, good salad that was healthy. It was healthy, but it was also a spiritual moment. So I was introduced to that. I was also introduced to other forms of medicine in a way. Not saying that because I'm vegan, I do this. Like, you can not be vegan and do these things. but like acupuncture, because I was very cautious or was trying to be more mindful with how I went about taking care of my body or healing my body or tending to my body. I started to adapt to more holistic things. So I go to acupuncture now because of my sciatic nerve. I try to go twice a month. It's expensive. It is expensive. But acupuncture, for those of you who have never experienced it, it's not like the Nutty Professor. Like what he did was a food test. The needles are very thin and small, but they basically hit on different points in your body. My brother's a massage therapist. If you want to know more about the anatomy, you can call him. Okay, you can schedule an appointment and get with him because he can tell you every single bone, muscle group in your body. Me, no. I can just tell you where it hurts and what to do about it. So I do acupuncture. I get ear seeds. Ear seeds go in your ear. They are very small. They're like the size of a mustard seed. That's how small they are. And there are 10 pressure points in your ear that correlate with the entire body. So for me, I would do stress. I would do some for sinus. I would do some for gut health. They do have some for women for like that monthly menopause moment or your monthly cycle. And then they have them for sexual health. They have it for some other options. I really strongly encourage you to look into that because you keep them in for about 3 days, 3 to 5 days. You talking about some good sleep. Okay, that would change your life. I've also tried cryotherapy since being vegan. That's basically when they freeze your body for 3 minutes and it flushes out I don't want to say the bad blood, but it just kind of refreshes your blood cells. I did that once before a physical because they were saying like your white blood cells are off. And I was like, huh. So again, I was panicking because I hadn't really kept uh, a checkup on my like physical health and stuff or my charts and things since going vegan. So I just went on a whim to get a physical and they were just like, this is off. So I went to cryotherapy, did it, went back for a checkup. They're just like, what did you do? I said cryotherapy. Like it's just amazing that all these other forms of healing or health techniques are out there, but it wasn't until I went vegan that I tapped into these things. Another thing is just holistic medicine. Like I have a miniature apothecary behind me. I do a lot of loose teas, even when I do like partake in the herbal essence or Mary Jane. I will mix in other things to act as another way, like some type of medicine. So, for instance, you can say, I am not, before I go deep into this rabbit hole, I am not telling you to go try this, okay? Consult your physician before you start mixing stuff. Now, let's continue. So, you can take a strand of something. You can do, I would say, a hybrid, some type of hybrid, and mix in a little bit of sage and a little bit of lavender. The sage will help with your sinuses, and the lavender will relax you. Baby, listen, and it's all natural. Okay. So there are other things that you can mix to help with holistic health. You can do a tincture. Again, I am not telling y'all to try none of this stuff. I'm just telling you what I have tried, what has worked for me. I am still alive and in my good mind. So I can just tell you these things. Now, you can also drink these teas and things. So I have chamomile, I have rose petals, hibiscus is another thing. I have, I do have Damiana, but that's for something else, and dandelion root. But with anything, you have to be mindful because I have a cousin who would ask me, like, Jay, what can I do about this? Listen, ma'am. Okay, now you on some medications. I am not a licensed physician or dietitian. I'm going to have to go to Dr. Google real quick and see if these herbs will mix okay or if they're deadly. because you can't mix every holistic herb with all these over-the-shelf medications that will cause a chemical imbalance and you will do more harm to your body. So we don't want that. So it's just been a fun experience tapping into all these other types of healing things. Now, one of the biggest things that I've faced being vegan is the hate I get outside the club when y'all trying to get in. Like it just behooves me that so many people got an opinion about what I eat. So many people feel that I went vegan to try to be better than someone else. No, again, I went vegan to be an advocate for other people. I went vegan because I wanted to break some stereotypes in my community, especially being from the South. And I didn't want to live my life on medication. Like I wanted to experience things that I never experienced before. And I didn't think I would, I didn't think I could go all in still eating meat. I don't miss it. That's the thing. Now I can take some jackfruit, mix some other herbs and spices with it, and I can get the fish. I can use mushrooms and still mimic fish. Now you can take watermelon and mix it with some soy sauce, dehydrate that thing. You got tuna fish. Like I don't miss it at all. If anything, I want you to try it. Now one day I'm gonna cook, and only some of y'all can try it because I don't know all y'all yet, and don't get too comfortable. But that was one thing that I just really had to get over was the negative sides of it. Now there's a festival that comes to New York once a year called Vegan Day. It felt like a vegan homecoming. Like so many black people. I mean, it was like earthy people, like the dreads, the gauges in the or the gauze, the gauges in the ears, and everyone just looked so hippie, but it was just so beautiful. And a lot of that just goes back to Dr. Sabi and how there's a controversy with him, like people saying that the alkaline diet isn't the best diet or it is the best vegan diet, but it was just the freedom and the bliss and joy that Dr. Sabi and that in that era and time that people had. And I was just like, I want that. I want that black joy in food. And I know that food, especially in the black community, is a love language. And for me, growing up in the South with my mom and my family, like holidays are a big thing. That's another thing I do miss. I will say I miss being able to really fellowship with family through food, but they've become more open to trying my food. So much so that I'll cook, leave the kitchen, come back, and my food gone. And they telling me, Jay, that was good. I know. Too bad I couldn't get none of it. But with Dr. Sabi and the Vegan Dale and all those things, it lets me know that there is a community out there. So if you're vegan and you're listening to this, you're my people. Okay, you get it. You understand the struggle. Now, I know a lot of people thought that the documentary Cowspiracy, and there was another one that came out a while back. People just like, oh, you watched that and you got persuaded. I did not. I didn't watch Cowspiracy because that was gross. That was really gross. And I know that a lot of it was propaganda and people the vegan industry was trying to really push people to eat more vegan food. Baby, I didn't want y'all taking all my stuff. Recently at church, we had an event and they had Impossible. I asked them to give me some Impossible burgers. It's the first burgers they cooked. I looked up, everybody had an Impossible burger. And I'm saying like, those are vegan. They good. I know. I know. I wanted more than two burgers because y'all got turkey burgers, beef patty, everything back there. And I got this one little burger and I can't have it to myself. Anyway, but I did watch the latest one. It was the twin experiment. And I just loved how they were able to take, identical twins and really put them to the test. One was vegan, one went vegan for 8 weeks, and one just continued on with a regular meat diet for 8 weeks. And it was amazing just to see how, with the plant-based diet, nothing really changed. There were some boosts in energy, there was some boosts in like muscle and protein, but overall it was still the same, which let me know that a vegan lifestyle is manageable. It's expensive. I will wholeheartedly say it is expensive when you are eating more processed food. Now, once you really become a chef and a master in the kitchen, baby, it's on. Okay, you can take some chickpeas, make a chicken salad, CHIK-hyphen-N chicken salad. You can do a tuna salad. You can make a burger. You can make some hummus. Like it's versatile. Chickpeas are clutch in the kitchen. And there are other things, lentils, you can make like lentil tofu, but you have to know your seasonings and spices. And that's another thing. Going vegan, my spice collection is growing every day. Like I get on TikTok and I get on Instagram and I see all these people with these extravagant spices, but they're important because I would have never had black salt until I went vegan. The fact that there is salt that mimics the flavor of eggs, that's crazy. But I love it. I love it so much that I have 2 bottles of it because it's perfect. It goes with everything. A lot of people ask, Justin, like, if you ever dated again, would you go back to be vegan? No, we're going to have to compromise in that area. Yeah, that's a huge compromise when it comes to it because I do not see myself going back. Now, I won't like die or anything if I went back to being vegan. I just know that it's not in alignment with who I am. Now, I bet you're wondering, like, Justin, what this got to do with mental health? Baby. So I've read a couple of books. Now behind me, I got a new bookshelf and I got a lot of books for nutrition. Again, when I started being vegan with Justin's Health Corner, I wanted to be an advocate for vegan nutrition, plant-based nutrition, holistic healing. That's always been my MO. But it was premature. During the pandemic, that's like a broken record, but I'm telling you, my life changed during the pandemic. During the pandemic, I really got serious about my platform. I really wanted to make sure that I was leading with mindfulness, positive intentions, inspiration, and education. Like I wanted to make sure I was educating people through everything I did. I didn't want to just whip together a recipe and say, this is good, eat it. I wanted to put a recipe together and say, if you are dealing with X, Y, and Z, try this meal. It's flavorful and it's healthy. You can eat whatever you want, but if it's not healthy, you are not doing yourself any justice. So I read this one book called This Is Your Brain on Food. And it talked about how certain foods correlate with certain mental illnesses. So like depression, ADHD, autism, PTSD, OCD, ADHD, anxiety, and some other symptoms. Beautiful. But you don't learn all of that from in school sometimes. You just learn like this is your food group, these go together. You need your proteins, your fat, your carbs to have a healthy diet. But you don't know that blueberries or walnuts can help fight with brain damage or help with memory loss. You don't know that adding herbs or adding supplements like ashwagandha or maca root can help reduce certain other illnesses. Like those things aren't taught. But when you are introduced to them, it comes with a price tag because now the people who know about it have commercialized it and put $1 to it to try to sell you a wellness thing when it's been there all along. So that is the reason that I rebranded Justin's Health Corner to Earthy and Cultured. Now, it was a dig at the people that was like, oh, I'm earthy crunchy. No, I'm earthy and cultured. So I wanted to really get back to my roots of cooking in the kitchen with my mom and my cousins around holidays because cooking is a love language. Like being able to connect with your ancestors. Because, Black people don't measure nothing. Okay. We eyeball it and we season into our ancestors say stop. I truly believe in that. And when I'm in the kitchen here in New York, I get in there and it's just like a whole different world, except for when it gets hot or when it gets too cold. And I'm just like, ooh, when is this dish done? But like to really understand like the flavor profiles and how you can mix oil and butter together, or knowing your aromatics and things like that, it's just beautiful. And to add the extra layer of like health and medicinal and holistic things, I'm gonna say that's sexy. Okay, that is hot. I love that for myself. I love that for myself. And so that's why I made Earthy and Cultured. And I even going vegan fell in love with wine even more, because they're all wine isn't vegan. And there are certain wines that are vegan friendly, that are made with different finishings so that they don't have animal byproducts in it. But knowing that when you smell a cologne and there are different layers, so like your profile, there's the top notes, middle notes, high notes, or top, middle, whatever they're called, those notes. You have that with wine. You also have that with like seasonings and spice blends and things like that. And I love the correlation between all of that. Some other books that I've read and I have in my shelf is Hold by Dr. T. Colin Campbell, and then the, Gut and Psychology Syndrome, and then Grain Brain. So I will put those somewhere on my site. They might be on earthyandculture.com. That's my plant-based page. But again, like I want to get back to that and become more of an expert in the field with holistic medicine and nutrition, so that if you are just like, I'm feeling depressed, okay, boom. So maybe you need to cut back some fried chicken or fried whatever you're eating, and really tap into like some teas, tap into these blends if you are somebody who partakes in like, 420. Or if you down a drinker, like, okay, cool, let's make a mocktail. Let's get some lavender and steep it, make you a lavender simple syrup and add it to some type of sparkling water or something, just to be more healthy and mindful with what you're eating. So overall, being vegan has given me a whole different outlook on life. I love it. I've eaten so many varieties of kale and beans and spices, and I don't like okra still. I still don't like okra. I don't like squash. I don't like zucchini. I don't like eggplant. It's all texture things. But I started a series with Earthy and Culture called Cookbooks and Conversations. And it has introduced me to so many cultures of food. I fell in love with kimchi. Y'all, kimchi is up there with pancakes. Like my top 5 things would be pancakes, kimchi, um, furikake. That's just like a seaweed mixture in something. Um, what are my other 2 top things? I know bao buns and one other thing. I cannot think of it right now, but I just love food. I love food, but I love food that's healthy. So I've done a cookbook review for Asian food, Japanese, Mediterranean. I have an Indian cookbook I'm going to review. Uh, Jollof rice. That's what it was. Jollof rice. My God. Especially when it's vegan. Top 5. I mean, y'all. But again, it just goes back to the love language, and my love for cooking. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So yeah, like while there are not as many heavy takeaways with it, I will say there was a lot of joy in my adjustment to veganism. Like I overcame the stereotypes that veganism was only for white people. And I found community in food through veganism, and I would not go back. Like if you want to talk to me about vegan food, absolutely. We can talk all day about it. But I just invite you to try more plant-based options. If it's not your thing, add a little chicken to it, add a little steak, But there is this company called Chunk. Now, if they want to sponsor me, listen, we can talk about it. But they have some of the best plant-based steak alternative. You talking about something good. I had that at Vegan Dale. My God, that was joy, unspeakable joy. To this day, I mean, they're in New York in different restaurants now, but I really love them. But yeah, like I love mocktails. I do love wine, but I do love the beauty of a mocktail. And again, just community, finding community through veganism has been great because so many people have confessed that, like they are less stressed because they gave up meat, or they don't have as much anxiety or depression, or they've been able to reverse certain things. And I love those stories when people say they reversed their high blood pressure or they reversed their diabetes. Listen, tell me how, because I want to know. Like, I'm not diabetic, but I do have high blood pressure. So I just loved hearing those things. So while it's not mental health related, it still correlates to health. And those are adjustments that I have made. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. I hope there is something you can take away that you can share. If you want to know more, just shoot me a text, because a lot of y'all like to text me while you're watching this, and I do not mind it at all. Please text me, because that means I know you're listening to it. But make sure you share, subscribe, and like. And if you want to check out my cookbooks and conversations videos, they're on my personal YouTube channel, Justin G. Nelson, and just look for cookbooks and conversations. I think I have 6 or 7 videos up there. You can follow that social media page too. It's at Earthy and Cultured. But since we talk about Adjusting Podcast, make sure you like the Instagram page, subscribe on YouTube, and do all those other things. Until next time, bye. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.